So Srila Prabhupada is in Vrindavan, and speaking very practical terms for devotees to hear, how to be a devotee. And that we have to learn how to become a devotee. Although we may be dressed in the form, the dress of a devotee, but to be a devotee is something a lot deeper than that. So he was at the beginning. He was talking about Srila Vyas. Before he wrote the Bhagavatam, he was writing about. He wrote so many Vedic literatures, even up to the point of the Vedanta Sutras. Still he wasn't satisfied. So his spiritual master, Narada Muni, who was in the disciple succession, corrected him and said that he should write about the Supreme Personality of Godhead, his activities like that. So this is very, very significant because our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada, is such an advocate, to say the least, of the personality of Godhead. But that is not different from the other teachers in the disciple session. All the acharyas, they have the same understanding, same conviction, same relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So they know how important it is that the concentration be particularly on the activities of the Personality of Godhead. Nothing vague. Their understanding of Bhagavan is nothing vague. It's very clear. So, in today's age, as we can see, it's not a very religious age. Prabhupada said, I was reading yesterday, that in the whole world, not just in some section, that the 99.9 of the people are atheistic. 99.9 of the people of this world are atheists. Naradamas. So this is what we ourselves are coming from, and this is what we're facing on Sankirtan. So this here, without religion or any form of religion, it's simply just animal life. In fact, animals don't behave so animalistic as human beings. We see in South Africa, the men are raping babies less than 1 year old. They think that by having sex with a baby, they'll get rid of their AIDS. Such insanity is being prevalent here. So this is the age. This mature world is such a place, and this is the age of the worst age, Krishna consciousness, and we shouldn't be surprised of all the madness like that. But we ourselves should not, follow. We're not going to say follow, but we should realize how bad it is, and want to get out. And we get out by strictly following our spiritual master, just like Narada Muni. Vyas strictly followed Narada Muni. So, if we want to get out of this hellish situation, we have to strictly follow. So Prabhupada mentioned that this other group called communists, that they driving out, they systematically drive out, or try to systematically drive out God, or any kind of religion, the communists like that. So Prabhupada in other places says they're very dangerous, the communists like that. And the Hare Krishna movement is meant to counteract the dangerous communistic movement. That's part of its purpose, is to counteract the communist movement. Also, Prabhupada did say, though, that they need to be educated. They don't have the education. So we have to educate the communists, because there's indications that the communists will be victorious. Prabhupada mentioned a few things. He said, if America drops the bomb first on Moscow, where they're moving in Pakistan, the reason the Americans are in Pakistan is so they have a better range for their nuclear targets in Pakistan. But there are other strong indications Prabhupada making that the communists will be victorious. America is too luxurious, and they won't be able to defend their country. He said also that the paper money will become valueless in the face of a crisis. It will be useless, the paper money. So we see all these things are already happening right now, and unfortunately people are still optimistic about America, think nothing's going to happen, I'm alright, don't bother me. The Prabhupada says there'll be annihilation of this here society by after a lapse of 50 years. So in and around 1956 April, there'll be some kind of annihilation, just like Hitler was annihilated, Aurangzeb, Kamsa, Napoleon, Churchill, all these people have been finished off by Maya Devi Maya, finish everybody off like that. So these nuclear bombs will be utilized, Prabhupada said, and everything will be annihilated. America will be finished, Russia will be finished, the whole world will be finished. So we have a responsibility to try to, like Prabhupada said, on a small scale, develop the program to set a nice example. He wants us to set an example. Even if it's a small community, people will be impressed by a nice example of Krishna consciousness. So Prabhupada said about the communists that because in India also it's the same thing. There's so many enemies, Prabhupada said, like that. So, but they have to be educated. These people. So we have to go on and set a nice example, and the people will appreciate like that. And then Prabhupada started speaking about very, very importantly about our deity worship, and I hope everybody was listening carefully to that. That we have to see the deity as not see the deity as stone, that we can make offenses before the deity. That's seeing the deity before a stone. I could do what I want before the deities. I could sleep, I could talk, I could turn my back, I could be dirty or like that, or leave the temple room dirty. No, this is seeing the deity as stone. We can't afford to do that like that. Any of us, or individually or collectively. We have to maintain some kind of standard where the temple room and the deities are always respected. Probably shouldn't go on the altar after we've eaten. We make sure that we come to take the plate off the altar before we take prasad, not afterwards. But to maintain some standards like that. Otherwise, we fall into the category of that the deity worship will become a burden, because we'll lose this, we won't see it, we won't have a loving spirit for the deities anymore if we neglect the deities. So we're very, very careful in worshipping our Lords of Shishi Nitai Gauranga and Srila Prabhupada. So not to make a show. It won't go. We can't make a show of worshiping the deity, but this won't last very long. The Lord has been so kind to us, to come with us, stay with us so many years, and come with us here, or lead us here to Oregon. So we particularly have to protect them and take good care of them, and make sure that they're treated very nicely. They're decorated very nicely. Okay. The Prabhupada was saying that it's not possible to love the Virata Rupa. How can you love the Virata Rupa? The stone, the mountains are his bones, and the sun and the moon are his eyes. How can you love the Virata Rupa? And Mother Jasoda, she was she saw her son, their other children, and Krishna's elder brother Balaram. They were lodging complaints that Krishna had eaten some dirt. So Krishna, he defended himself. No, they're lying. Like that. So Mother Jasoda said, "Open your mouth." And when Krishna opened his mouth, she saw all the universes, or within this universe, all the planets. She also saw herself there, and like that. But she didn't want to understand Krishna that way. She just wanted a son like Krishna. So the Lord appeared and said, "You can't have a son like Krishna." So he appeared as her son. So she just treated him and said, "Okay, now you go on with your activities like that." And so she didn't even want to acknowledge what she saw in his mouth, or so many universes and so many planets like that. She didn't want to acknowledge that. She just wanted to accept Krishna as her loving son. That's all. She was just concerned about that. So that's the loving spirit, in other words, that we have to have, not something impersonal about God. God is the supreme personality of Godhead, and He's the person that Prabhupada has given us. Deity worship, it's a blessing, because we can't, with these eyes, we can't see God, being contaminated by the three modes of material nature, we can't see God directly. So the Lord is so kindly coming in a form that we can see Him. So we have to take care of the Lord in a way that is respectful, at least in a respectful way, not neglectful. So we have to make sure that the temple is clean, the rug is clean, the altar is clean, the fireplace is clean, that the items in the temple are clean and everything is neat. Nothing that doesn't belong here shouldn't be here, like that. Dusting and cleaning, or getting a vacuum somehow or other. But to maintain it, the temple room is very important because it's the most important room. When I became a bhakta, I remember I was assigned how to clean the temple every day, and then a maha cleanup every Sunday in the temple. We took the Vyasasan apart. We had a big Vyasasan, and we used to take it all apart and then clean it and put it back together again. We washed the walls. So we were washing the walls. The very nice standard we had of cleaning, and the floor was clean, so nice. We had a marble floor, and I was in my Mayavadi consciousness. I came into the movement, and we were doing Sankirtan, and I understood Sankirtan is more important than deity worship, but we didn't have a temple room, and then many men had to stay back and with their hammers and things they made a nice space for the deities, and then Radha Govinda came. But I was thinking at that time, what is all this attention for the temple? Our business is Sankirtan, our business is Sankirtan, our business is Sankirtan. But I didn't realize that deity worship is essential in this age of Kali. It's essential like that. And then a lot of attention was put to the temple room, and then Radha Govinda came the next year, and then I gradually understood that how important it is for us to worship the deity. Radha Govinda is so beautiful, and the queen of Jaipur gave Radha Govinda to Srila Prabhupada, and Prabhupada designated Radha Govinda for New York. So we have to have a loving spirit with the deities, dancing nicely, hands raised high, and decorating deities very nicely with nice clothing and nice ornaments, cleaned every day. And so we should know that here's Krishna, here's God, here's the Supreme Lord, here's the Supreme Person of Godhead. The Lord Krishna is personally here. We have to have that feeling that God is here. Have to decorate nicely, and we lose the spirit of service to the deity. Then the whole thing will become a burden, and then everything will be lost, and our lives will be lost. So if there's no love, no spirit of love for the deity, then it's simply show, and it will not last. So we have to always keep the loving spirit like that by, of course, doing everything else we got to do. So the beginning is Shraddha, faith. Faith, Prabhupada was speaking about faith in this connection, that faith means faith in the words of the Supreme Person of Godhead. Krishna says, surrender to me, and I accept that. So if I surrender to Krishna, I'll be perfect. All my reactions of my sinful life will be gone, and I'll be situated in devotional service, so I can be engaged 24 hours a day. That's wanted. In fact, without the 24-hour engagement, constant engagement, I won't be able to understand Krishna. Krishna gives reveals himself for those who are constantly engaged in the service with love. That's the stipulation, not just engage in service, but engage with love. So love means deity worship. Who's the object of my love? The deity got to be the object of my love, and that deity is also not only Nitai Gauranga, but Srila Prabhupada, his deity too, because we know he's not different from Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sakshat Hari, directly Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So the Lord comes in different forms as Shaktavesha avatars, Leela avatars, Guna avatars, so many manifestations, incarnations like that. So Srila Prabhupada is also a Shaktavesha avatar. He's master. Prabhu means master, our Lord, and everyone else is servant. So Sakshat Hari, Prabhupada is directly Hari, Krishna, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we have to worship Prabhupada non-different from Nitai Gauranga, because they're the same. So therefore his words are God's words. Everything that Prabhupada said is the word of God. And therefore, if we don't follow Prabhupada's instructions, then we become bereft of my feelings of love of God. Everything is there in the instruction. In other words, Prabhupada's emphasis that we've got to accept whatever Krishna says. That means accepting everything Prabhupada says, because everything Prabhupada says is what Krishna says. Krishna is saying everything through Prabhupada, or Prabhupada is Krishna himself saying everything. So accepting Prabhupada's words means accepting God's words. There's no difference. So after we have some firm faith, we mix with the devotees and be constantly engaged. And then we come to the Sadhu Sangha, and then we come to Bhajana Kriya, where I chant my rounds, I engage constantly, do my service like that, and then I ask the spiritual master, please initiate me, let me become your disciple, and follow four principles, no illicit sex, no gambling, no intoxication, no meat eating, like that, and then chant 16 rounds a day, and follow the rules and regulations, and do preaching. Without preaching, we can't develop our love for Krishna. So the preachers are very most fortunate. There's no one more dear to me than the preacher. So sometimes the Maya influences me like that, but I should know that my preaching must go on, because it's the best thing for me. All to do is here in the morning explaining. I should be steady in my activities. That nothing deters me from my engagement. In other words, the mind should not succumb to agitation that I cannot do my activity. We have to be able to perform our activities despite all inconveniences, all so-called agitations, all problems like that. Because it's for my benefit. I should know, I should do this, I should have enough faith to go on with my activities, no matter how much disturbed, so-called, I get, which is just the influence of the modes of material nature. But I'm actually not this body, I'm spirit, soul, transcendental, part and parcel of the Supreme Soul. As Krishna is transcendental, I'm also transcendental, but I'm part of his body. So I shouldn't get too disturbed, or I should not let it bother me that much that my service is interfered with. Service must go on like that, through so many inconveniences, disturbances, problems, or so-called problems. We have to learn to tolerate them and be steady through everything like that. Not up and down, one day this, one day that. We're going to be steady. All of us are going to be steady. When there's serious illness or a problem like that, there's something else. But we have to learn to be steady. Why is that? We're receiving the greatest benediction. The benediction of being able to serve the absolute truth. And here, one devotee was saying, the only benediction I want is to be able to hear from the pure devotee. That's the only benediction he wanted like that. And then the mantra itself, the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, is that please engage me in your service. And when Lord Krishna wanted to bestow his mercy upon the gopis, all he said was that I can't do anything for you except you just engage in the service. So the greatest gift is the service itself. So we want to always be engaged all the time under the auspice of the spiritual master, his authority. In Krishna consciousness and any kind of consciousness, we must work under the parampara system. The parampara system doesn't mean that I'm a disciple, now I'm in the parampara. No. Parampara means I have to be acting properly. Otherwise I'm not in the parampara. If we're not acting properly as disciple, then being disciple doesn't mean I'm in the parampara. That's probably the same I was reading yesterday in the morning walk in Vrindavan in March of 74. Being disciple doesn't mean I'm in the parampara. Disciple means I have to act properly. And then I'm in the parampara. Otherwise I'm not connected. Parampara means connection. Otherwise, if I'm not in the parampara, if I'm not following the orders of Krishna Master, then I'm not connected. Therefore, I'll never be happy. So then, after Bhajana Kriya, we get initiated, we're serving, and we're trying to please the Spiritual Master by spreading his mission, spreading his glories, like we do at Your Ever Well Wisher, distributing his books in particular, like that. And then comes the Nartana Vritti, all the bad habits are gone. Probably speaking of some gross habits, like smoking. How many people are addicted to smoking? Like that. So, but there are no obstacles. In Krishna consciousness, there's no such thing as an obstacle. Even if there are many enemies, even on Sankirtan, and there's no obstacles. They want to stop the Hare Krishna movement. They want to stop Prabhupada. They want to give a church. No, I can't give the church to Prabhupada. So they wouldn't let Prabhupada in Nairobi one time. He was circling around in an airplane. They wouldn't let him, or this wouldn't let him. The immigration officers wouldn't let him in Nairobi. So this is a place. This is Africa, and they wouldn't let Prabhupada in. So that's the world we live in. It's 99.9 atheistic and full of demons everywhere. So we shouldn't be surprised. And when we look at ourselves also, we have to be very understanding of where we're coming from. We're coming from Prabhupada picked up a bunch of demons and making them devotees, Malechas, Yavanas, Chandalas, like that, and making them trying to convert into becoming devotees. So by Prabhupada's mercy, it's all possible. Because he's pure devotee, he's God's representative, he's not different from Krishna, Chaitanya. So we got to stay in connection with Prabhupada all the time by following his instructions, in particular, keeping a loving spirit for the deities and getting fresh flowers the devotees who are out in Sankirtan keep a better eye out for nice flowers here and there, wherever they may be, so we can give them flowers every day. That's the best thing to do that. If I was saying today, making a big point about the flowers. So there's some, generally speaking, we have flowers, but devotees be more now tuned in that. Make sure that they keep it in mind when passing banks and other places where they're offering flowers for us to the deities. So that was the end of the class. Apatiyata, nothing can stop it. We have to maintain our program and loving spirit for the deities. And today the deities are being dressed and bathed, and they'll have a new dress. I will see them again soon by their mercy, so we can remember them and then make our life perfect. And deities, please. The Lordship Sri Sri Thakur be pleased with us, and then if they like, they can reveal themselves to us. She will probably reveal himself to us, and we will be so happy, and nothing will ever bother us again, and we will push on Prabhupada's movement very nicely with no impediments, and the communists will be defeated, and everyone will say, Jai Srila Prabhupada. Any questions? Comments? Anybody got a question? Realization? Comment? Additions? Corrections? Okay. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Iti Namane Nama Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Nivasesha Shanyavadi Paschacharesa Tarane Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharane Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Yadvaita Siddhana Shivashari Gaur Bhakta Hare Gauranga, Nitai Gauranga. Jai Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada, Jagadguru Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada,